Hi guys, I'm going to jump back on the CT-1 Yamaha here. Uh, I've always wanted to put a close ratio transmission in one. From what I understand, some of the I don't know where it starts. 72, 73 maybe. I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows. um, on the CT1s, they actually came with them. I believe the serial number starts with 200 on those. And the AT-1 MX came with close ratio. So it gives it a little better, you have less space between your gears. You're still 1-to-1 when the day is over. It's just you have less space in between them to bog down, so you can stay up on your power band or whatever. So that's what I'm going to do. I was able to find all the gears I needed. They're out there, NOS gears. Let me show you what I've got here. Okay, this is everything that we're going to replace. We've got the what they call the wheel gears up here, and then the pinion gears here. So you need the pinion shaft that comes with your first gear, and then you've got a new first gear on the wheel, new fourth gear on the wheel, and new fifth gear on the wheel. Fourth on the pinion, of course, 1, 5, and second. The third gear is the same. The second wheel gear is the same. It's this gear here is just a little bit off, a little bit different diameter, but not enough. So I guess what it's going to do is just maybe go a little deeper into the into this gear. So the first thing that you have to do is you've got to pull this old second off. And in order to do that, you've got to have a press, and you've got to pull this thing, press it off. All the rest of the gears are going to be accessible via a snap ring. So if you've got it down this far, it's pretty simple. I mean, once you get the gears. I guess I can kind of go over them. On the wheel, this the main, this is your counter shaft where your sprocket goes right here. On the wide ratio, you've got a 35. On the close, you've got a 34. And on the second gear, you've got a 30 on wide and 30 on the close. Third is 26 and 26. It's the same gear. Actually, the second is too. Second is 30 and 30. The fourth gear, 23 on the wide, 24 on the close. And fifth gear is 20 on the wide, 22 on the close. Then you move over to your pinion, and the one that's the first gear that's made onto the shaft is 11 on the wide, 12 on the close. Second gear, 15 on the wide, 16 on close. Third gear, 19 on both. Fourth is 23 on the wide, 22 on the close, and fifth gear is 25 and on the wide and 23 on the close. So first thing we've got to do is we've got to pull this second gear off of the pinion. The rest of them we can get to, I believe. Not that I've ever done this before, so it's new to me too. So I'm going to use a small bearing separator here and to pull this gear off along with the hydraulic press. Okay, let me get set up over to press and I'll see you there. Okay, I'm just going to snug these up just a little bit. Not much, doesn't need much. It ain't going anywhere. And what you want to do is get this as tight as you can with your arbor plates without, when you need to make sure that, let me see here, let me get a light so I can show you. Okay, if you look down in here, see how close we are to the top one. I can move a little bit closer, but the idea is when you're pressing this that you're not going to catch one of those gears and snap it. You want to make sure everything stays free in there. All right. Quick readjustment. So I need to move over a little bit. Okay. I'm going to start out with a bigger pin and then I'll have to drop down to a smaller one. Let's see here. I think I'm going to be in the way of the camera, so I'm going to move you back here. See if that's... Yep, got a good view of it there. Hopefully that's good. All right, let's get after this thing. Gosh, I'm kind of in the way that way too, ain't I? Center that up. Okay, now I'm going to grab it underneath and take another look just to make sure everything looks good. Drop down to a little bit smaller pin. Everything's still good. There we go. Gear out. And to get us back over to the bench. Okay, we're back at the bench. Okay, here's the gear we just took off. The next one, just lay these things out. And then we've got this one here that's captive with a snap ring. We got that. Pull it off. Okay, so we're going to change out the shaft. This is the AT-1 one with 12 teeth. I'm sorry, 11 teeth, and we're going to the close ratio with 12 teeth. So let's get that one out of the way. And first thing we need is fourth. Yep, fourth. That's this one here. We're going to go from a 15 to a 16. I'm just trying to double check myself here as I go. So that one goes up against first, and then get rid of that one. And we can go back in here and get our snap ring on. To get pliers with a 90-degree on it. Tap this down. Okay. Snapped in all the way around. Okay, then the third is the same. And fifth is our new one here. We're going from a 25 to a 23. And then we go from the second gear from where is it there? 15 to a 16. Now these things they're wider. This is the only one that is like that, but when I measured it, it's just about the same. So if you go across the boss like that, I don't know if you can see it or not. $592.5, and the old one, it's not as wide tooth-wise, but the bosses come out on both sides. Nope. I can't do it backwards. Well, there we go. Okay, 592. So it's right there. I double checked everything, and I just I saw that being wider, and I thought, well, this isn't going to work, but it's the only one they list, and the only thing you want to make sure is that this boss right here, where it's raised, goes toward the gear like this. Otherwise, if you ever need to get it off again, you won't be able to do it because it's going to be too close to get your bearing separator in between. Now, when you put this on, it's going to bottom out. This gear is going to bottom out right here. This is 622 up here, and below it's 612 and a half. So it's going to bottom out right here on this shoulder, and that's going to leave this gear able to spin still. Okay. Now I'm just going to double check everything and count everything and make sure I'm good before I press this back on, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, it's a good thing I double checked everything, because there was a washer, thrust washer, that goes under that snap ring, and it was stuck in the groove here on the old the old gear. So you want to go back and double check your work and just make sure. If I'd got that all put back together and it didn't work, I would not have been happy having to open this engine back up. Okay, so let me get set up back over to the press, and we'll press this one back on. Okay, before we go over to the press, I wanted, for my own sake, to know what the interference fit was on this gear, and I measured this the collar here where the gear goes at 0.6125, and then I went in and did the best I could with a snap gauge here, and I did it several times, and I came up with about 0.6102. So that leaves us with an interference fit of approximately 2 3/10,000ths. So that's a pretty tight fit for something that small, but that's probably what it needs. So I guess I'm trying to debate whether I want to heat the gear and then press it on, or just we'll probably just press it on. I think it'll be all right. Okay, now I guess we'll see over at the press. Okay, back over at the press. I've got this set up, I think. I've got the ledge, the boss, whatever you want to call it, toward here, so it'll go between these two gears and leave me a space to pull it off again if I need to. And I've got the end of this setting on a piece of aluminum so that I don't damage the threading here. So let's see if we can press it on. I think that's it. Okay, let's go back over to the bench. All right, let's get started on the counter shaft now. This stuff here will all slide off this end, so we'll just take it off. And looks like everything else goes on from this other end. We'll get a snap ring here. Just gonna lay these out as I take them off. Get to stay in the holes. There we go. And we've got a shim on both sides of that one. Let's see, that's you gotta have that one, that's 5th. Alright. So kind of look over things, looks like a good shaft. Alright, so we got our new 5th. And then we need snap ring. That's our old one. And we've got thrust washer, 3rd gear, which is the same. Everything's fitting into that. And then we have a thrust washer and a snap ring. Okay. And then we need our new 4th gear. And our new 1st. And then we've got a thrust washer. Snap ring. And we've got our 2nd, I think that, yeah, that's 2nd. And thrust washer. Just like that. And here's our other shaft. Looks like everything meshes. There we go. Let me again do a double check. Okay, looks like we've got a winner here. I think everything is as it should be. This thicker gear is, I mean, it's the only one they list. It's got to be it. It just, I mean, the width of it is fine. So it's the same width, total width, as the one we took off. But it's got another tooth on it. But we don't change this gear for that one. But if you measure it this way, there's very little difference between the old one and the new one. There's a slight difference, but not much. I can't remember. Well, let's just measure it here. I did this before I put it on. Okay, I'm reading, trying to get it on the high parts of the tooth here. 1426. And 1416. So 10 thousandths. 10 thousandths. Not much. I guess it just compensates for, you know, by going in a little bit further into the tooth. But anyhow, that's what you have to have in order to change it from wide ratio to close ratio. And like I said before, the 175s at some point had those. And if somebody out there knows what year frame that starts, I'd certainly like to know. It's my understanding that the engine serial numbers start with 200 instead of 0 for all those that have that close ratio. And you know, I don't know what else to say. It's pretty straightforward. It's just you want to watch what you're doing, take your time, especially before you press this one back on, because it just once you do that, you're kind of at the point of no return. You can get it back off, and everything will probably be okay, but you just want to make sure. So take a little extra time. So give me a thumbs up if you would, a subscription if you could. Thanks for going along on the ride. I hope somebody can use this information. See you in the next video.